Yeah, so basically we've been having a virtual food festival, and we've had questions like, how can people test food virtually? Like now I've got my cup of coffee, I can smell it, I can taste it, but you cannot. But you're in the sector, maybe you could just, looking at the 2-day conversation, of course, I can see you're highlighting innovation, but we've just come across some new kind of visitor a few minutes ago.
Yes,
The
where
next
we
generation visitor.
exactly, where they also raised very important questions, because in terms of what I was saying, the new introductions, where we have for example, contactless check-ins in the hotels, which we didn't have before. We've never seen it, but they are now being introduced. And of course, the enhanced technology, like we've mentioned. And there was the other thing that was companies should be fit to adapt in terms of the digital and marketing communications are, of course, called upon to be very innovative in terms of, because now all eyes are on the marketing, all the platforms that are the social media platforms, how you're going to use them to generate back the revenues that has been lost over time since March. And then, of course, the uniqueness is also needed. I've also seen a diversification in terms of what people are doing and the kind of events, because previously we would do all the launches in the hotels. People would be doing it, outdoors, indoors activities, but now we've seen virtual events. Just like the other week, we would see Sauti Sol, who are hosting a virtual event. It's actually a concert. So people are watching a concert, and people actually pay to attend. Others do not pay. They have partners. So life has to move on, whether there is corona or not. People have to come up with ways to do their normal day activities. And then, of course, coming up with innovative ideas on how to respond to COVID-19, like for the issues of content blogging as well. We saw yesterday that Nora mentioned they've had to come up with ideas in response to the COVID-19. What do people like? Yeah. What do people like? Sorry. What do people like, and how are they going about introducing and carrying out their businesses into a success? And I can see Anzazi has joined us. Maybe I can take this opportunity to welcome her. Anzazi, can you hear us?
So let me mute myself.
Okay,
but thank you for sharing those points, because I know you're in the hotel industry now, and I can see Anzazi is there now. Maybe you can take over. Anzazi, it's good to see you. I'm a big fan of Chibundiro. I'm almost done with my stock. Just some point, the stock I bought in Nairobi is halfway done, but some guys in my rural shacks took the other package, so it's somewhere in Western Kenya, and they're also almost done. But they told me we can get them in retail stores, so maybe Sally, you could get Anzazi to tell us a little bit about what she sells before she even teaches us how to cook, right?
Yes.
I'm a big customer. Thank you.
So good afternoon once again, everyone. I don't think I had introduced myself. My name is Sally Jepkorir. I'm actually handling the social media bit for Interregional Economic Network. And we are now off to day 2 of the IREN Growthpad Virtual Food Festival, which is one of a kind, because this is our first time that we are doing a virtual food festival. So it started yesterday, and we've been discussing about the food and tourism industry, where we've been really affected with coronavirus. And now people are trying to come up with new innovative ways on how to run things and bring back the revenues. So the IG Festival is actually featuring a number of activities, right from master classes, which we are yet to, we started one in the morning, and we have Anzazi right now. And then we have, of course, the Kamkunji sessions. We have the recipe challenge, which is going on, the Chakula Chetu challenge. And we've also had bloggers who've been doing their videos, tagging us and posting them, doing their food content, which has been amazing. So for this afternoon, we will have Anzazi Kitty, allow me to introduce Anzazi Kitty. Anzazi is actually the finance director and founder of Testafric, who's also our alumni from the Young Innovators in Agribusiness. It was such an honor to have you. And Testafric is actually a Kenyan-based spice company that houses Chibundiro and Siri products. And aside from that, Anzazi, I can see you said that you love cooking. So I'm really hoping and crossing fingers that we will learn a lot from you. And also, as before I leave you to kick off with your session, is that you're going to talk, this is a masterclass actually, and the food game changer topic is, you'll be talking about your spices and, you know, advising people on how to spice up their food. And of course, give us an advice because you've been in the industry, so you really understand how this one goes. So over to you, Anzazi Kitty, karibu.
So, as I've been introduced, I'm the founder of Testafric Company Limited. We do basically value addition to vegetables and spices. And as Sally mentioned, I'm an alumni of the Young Innovators in Agribusiness. That was in 2016. Actually, they made me realize the potential that the business had to help me by opening my eyes, because I believed in my business more after the program, and I learned so many things after the program. But today we are going to talk about the cooking and the game changing. So my mission statement in this business is basically health first from nature's best. We try to tell people to motivate people, to inspire people that they are actually what they eat. So your health is based on what you take into your mouth, or whatever you cook, or whatever you sit down to put in your mouth. So it's something that if everyone is cautious of their health, they'll be able to be healthy and to avoid diseases that are caused by basically what we eat. So Chibundiro is coming from the word bunda in Swahili. So in the coastal community, Chibundiro will basically mean a mortar and a pestle, where somebody uses to crush and grind spices and things to put in the food. So today I'll basically talk about the art of cooking, and I'll say that cooking is mostly an art that needs creativity. It's not a particular recipe cast on stone, but it's something that you need to think of the end before you start the cooking process. So what does this mean? If you want to maybe make ugali, you need to think, how do I get the ugali made? Or if you want to make ideri, you can't take wheat flour, expect you'll get ugali. So what happens basically is, before you start making something in the cooking process, you need to identify, what do I need to get to this goal? And most of the time, if you miss a particular act, or you miss a particular creative, or you miss a particular element, it will make a difference in the end goal of your cooking. So in short, I'm trying to say there's these ingredients that you need to make your food taste bitter, to make your food taste sweet, to make your food taste in a particular texture. Because we can talk of technology in terms of mobile phones, technology in terms of cars, in technology in terms of different sectors in the global market. But what is food technology, or what will you say a food additive is? A food additive is something that is added to the food, and when you add it to your food changes in terms of maybe of the texture, maybe in terms of the color, maybe in terms of the taste. So what is the end goal of your cooking process? That's something that you should ask yourself. Do you want the taste of your cooking to change? For example, if you're making naans or you're making chapati, you can't eat the flour as it is grinded. The texture has to change. So you'll have to add water into it for it to taste. So what is this that you want to be the end process of what you're preparing to get into your body for you to have another day, like for you to live longer? That's my perspective of cooking, because some things can be eaten raw, yes, and some things have to be cooked for them to be consumable to human beings. So it's health first from nature's best, and that's where we derive our mission from. And how do we get this mission to get to your household? Because our vision is basically making sure that we have spiced up all households with our products. So how will this get into your house, or how will you create room for Chibundiro into your kitchen shelf? You'll do this, we do this by working hand in hand with smallholder farmers. So we get the inputs and raw materials from the smallholder farmers, and this is basically a social impact to the community, because once you get the raw materials, they know that they are going to get reliable prices in the fluctuating prices of agricultural inputs. And also by doing that, they'll know that they have a ready market, so they will produce knowing that they won't suffer from post-harvest losses. And we take that and value add that to make the product that is 100% natural and takes your food to another level in terms of the health, the aroma, the health benefits, and the nutritional value. In that you don't really have to be a good cook to enjoy a good meal. Just a sprinkle of Chibundiro takes your food to another level, and you're able to know that the food that I'm eating is healthy and is tasty. So if we are to use a game changer, and let's say the Chibundiro was not in the market now, what will you use to make your food taste good? Because most of our grandparents, most of our parents still used to make tasty foods. Sometimes when you go home to your mother's food, you feel like my mother did not put anything in this food, but this food tastes so good. So sometimes I ask myself, what is the secret ingredient of a tasty meal? And my equation comes to love. When you cook your food with love, a pinch of love makes the food taste better, and the people around you understand, wow, this food is tasty because somebody has cooked it with love. Most of the time when somebody cooks when they're angry, when they cook when they're not happy, the food even can get burnt, or the food can taste in a very funny way. So there are many secret ingredients, but the best secret ingredient is when you know whatever you're putting into your cooking pot is something that is healthy, something that will not affect you and the people around you. And most of it, when you cook the food, or you prepare the salad, or you prepare the juice with love. Because sometimes when you prepare, when you're angry, it can even fall down and pour. You can even break the glass and it can get into the food. But if you cook it with an element of love, an element of joy, an element of wanting to live longer by living healthy, you'll get a better cook result. So the end goal will be a good result. So the game changer could be Chibundiro, could be any other secret ingredient, but ultimately the goal needs to be a goal that will make the people around you happy, that the people around you will be healthy. And it's just something that all of us need to embrace, that we are what we eat. And if we are careful with our health, we are going to make a better tomorrow. So I'm careful with whatever I put in my cooking pot. I'm careful with how I serve it. I'm careful with how I cook it. And ultimately, you'll ensure that everyone around you is a happy person. So unless there's a question, I'm not so sure what else I need to talk about, but I can talk in terms of the questions that you bring forth, I'm going to answer.
So I had a question, Anzazi, and for any other person who has any questions, you can raise your hand, remember, or alternatively, you can actually do it on the chat box. So for your business right now, and since coronavirus in March, when it affected, so many Kenyans, I don't know, has anything changed? Have you introduced anything to try and, stay like what you used to do before, or some things have changed?
So definitely Corona has come with some changes, and especially in cutting down on the costs. So we had to decide on cutting down on costs in particular areas. This will mean going down to the ground and looking even at the cost of production and seeing how can we get this input cheaper from a different supplier. That is one. Second, we were able to see who amongst us can we release and cut on the salaries, and still will be able to reach to our optimum expected production. We were affected specifically in terms of when there was maybe restrictions of movement, because we had our sales team that was going out to make sales, but now that there was restriction of movement, they were not able to go out. And some of the kiosks that we used to supply in, for example, in Kibera, because of just the corona pandemic, they were afraid to open shop, and others were also opening, but they were not really welcoming in receiving stock because they don't know how long the pandemic will take. But one thing that was not so affected will be the chain from the production to the supermarkets, because people still used to go to the supermarkets and supply. And also we were able to realize the value that we have in the e-commerce, because most people were able to go and buy the product through our website. So I felt like this was a learning process to us, and businesses should embrace e-commerce, should embrace the digital platforms, and also should put a structure whereby they're able to have a route to their final customer, like a route to market, to the route to the final customer. So I think that's how the corona was affected us. But we are getting back to the normal situation in the past 2 months. We can't compare the current situation and how it was in May.
So you'd say the embracing of the e-commerce and the digital platforms would be now the strategies that you've come up with in terms of trying to, avoid more losses.
Yeah, and also cutting down on the costs.
Yes.
Like also releasing, like we released 2 staff also, so that you can cut down on the costs and move forward.
Yeah, I can see time is really running. We still have some 10 minutes, but we also have a question from James, and he says, does Test Afrique Limited do research on test pallets of different markets before they issue products? How do you go about doing that?
Yes, we do that. Actually, we do research. Before even we do the research, we take the product to the lab. We've worked hand in hand with Kirdi, and they help us to get the even nutritional composition to test the product. And also we use the KEBS lab, Kirdi and KEBS lab several times, so that we can be able to know the different composites and issues that the product have. We also are able to carry out surveys to the customers that have used the products, and we tell them we have a new product like Syria Chai. We want you to sample it and tell us what you think about it. And so the different products are we normally do even, we normally put them, like when you come to the shelf, you will see we have even products from 2015, 2016, 2017, different batches, whereby we are able to see the changes even in color of the product. If there is any, we test. We use just the natural senses to see if there's any difference of the product. So I can say, yes, we do research on the different markets. In terms even on the different customer segments, we're able to say, like, for example, if I can take a particular customer segment like high school, I can decide when I go to a high school, I won't give samples to all Form 4s. I'll take 3 students in Form 1 blue, 3 students in Form 2 red, and up to Form 4, so that the 3 can be able even to influence the other people on terms of the attributes of the product.
So how often do you do this, or is it only during maybe introduction of new spices, or how frequent do you do it?
It's basically a continuous process. You have to do research on a continuous process because you do analysis of the product on a continuous basis, because each product, each batch actually is categorized in a different category because the date of manufacturing is different. So it's a continuous process that has to be done. Sometimes you can just ask, even just on social media, people don't have to know that you're doing a research, like what is your best product out of the 6, and you'll be able to get to know, comparing, and you compare with analyzing the data that you have on the products that you're selling and seeing which one moves faster. We can also carry a research by asking for data from the outlets like the supermarkets that we sell from, so that you can be able to to analyze it and see how we can grow and meet our competitive advantage.
Wow. So you also sell your products in the supermarkets. Do you also have, online platforms, so do deliveries?
Yeah. I've said we do deliveries, so you can order from our online platforms, and then we do deliveries to you. And I can see Mr. James is asking the plan of food tourism. I can
Yes.
say food tourism. Tourism basically means getting to a new adventure, or knowing a new place, or interacting with a new experience. So the plan, actually this year we had a very big plan to be in the food tourism. We were part of the Kanga Festival arrangements that brings people across all the world to test different foods from different communities. So Corona was affected the program and it didn't run. It was to be in April, but we are still part of the Food Africa Technology Program, and we know that through that we will be able to go out and be more adventurous about food of different communities, of different countries, and able also to incorporate our recipes and our products into different categories of people.
So as we continue getting your questions for the next 5 minutes that we have left, I wanted to mention, Anzazi, that IREN Growthpad is also about pushing and helping to grow the indigenous, the original Kenyan cuisine. I don't know if chibundiro are they really, the spices, are they really friendly to the Kenyan cuisine? For example, can I use it in making managu?
Yeah, of course. You
So
see,
any kind of food.
Chibundiro is just Africa's innovation. As my innovation, I can say that it is something that can be added to any kind of food, even the boringest food that you think. It can change from boring into favorite. Just a sprinkle of chibundiro in your managu, you will not believe that you're eating managu. You cannot afford to eat even Kisumu boys, whatever, that is omena or githeri, without a sprinkle of chibundiro. So it is very friendly to the African cuisines, to the Kenyan cuisines, because actually its origin is from Kenya.
And now that you mentioned the boring food, I remember you had mentioned that even those people who are lazy can just, cook anyhow and then, add some, spices from Test Afrique. Isn't that really dangerous, especially with the millennials who are lazy and don't want to try out and some proper cooking?
We are tackling a very important problem here. There are marriages that are breaking because of bad food. So why should your marriage break when you can just sprinkle chibundiro on your food? One. Secondly, most of the healthy foods tend to be a bit boring. So why do you think you should eat a boring salad when you can just sprinkle your chibundiro to make your salad taste good? Most of the detox recipes are not very tasty. But you see, a sprinkle of chibundiro in your detox meal will take your detox to another level. You won't be afraid of doing a detox. Those are the things that we are trying to tell people, that you do not really have to be a good cook to enjoy a good meal. Your marriage doesn't have to go down the drain because you didn't know how to cook. It just needs you to take an extra step of cooking with joy, cooking with love, cooking with a sprinkle of chibundiro. That's all.
Wow, that's really amazing, and it's really insightful. We love it. The way you are explaining it, huh? Why should marriages for sure have to break when we have you, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, as we wind up, we still have some 2 minutes left. I don't know if any other person has a question, burning question, before we leave the stage to Anzazi for maybe one parting shot.
I've got a question or a comment, and this is based on the expert we hosted yesterday from the US. I think Anzazi maybe didn't join us, but we had a food tourism expert yesterday, and she had very good ideas of what one can do. She gave even an example of how even the honey producers can be part of food tourism. Are you planning to include this as part of your revenue stream, meaning tourists would like just to come to see chibundiro being processed, and then you charge them a fee, and then they buy some of that? Or do you want just to limit yourself to the shelf and e-commerce?
Actually, we started having the charging for factory visits in our factory, and our factory is a cottage industry. So, but still, we started getting so many requests of people coming to tour our factory. Like maybe Barclays will be doing a training of its staff, and at the end of the training, they want to take their staff to a small business or to have a tour. And eventually we decided, I think this is a line of business that will also venture. So I'll be glad to be part of the food tourism, and we'll be glad to have tourists to come see the processing and buy, of course. And we also have FDA, so they should not be afraid, because FDA can help us also penetrate into the European markets. So we'll be open to food tourism. We'll be glad to also make business with food tourism.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Anzazi. As we wrap up, we want to thank you in a very big way for being part of the 2020 IREN Growthpad Food Festival. We've learned a lot from you, such inspiring content from your side. And you've encouraged us to do cooking. Cooking is an art for sure, and cook it with an element of love, especially for those who are coming. They need to have this in mind. And I would also like I don't know what you would say to the upcoming innovators, now that we have so many millennials trying to only go the social media way and the influencers kind of business, but no one is actually seeing such good things that you're doing.
Okay,
Generation Z, maybe a word for them.
I think I'll just tell people to take a step, and sometimes the step is just by maybe applying to a competition. Like I think you might have don't take it lightly about IREN catalyzing the process into my business, because through the IREN training is when I realized this could be a major big thing. So I feel like I should tell people they should just apply for opportunities that come their way. I'm saying,
yes,
that people should go out, look for opportunities that will help them build themselves in terms of personal development and build their business ideas. Because once you go out on a platform that will enable you to showcase your idea and your vision, you'll be a step ahead rather than just sitting on your idea.
Thank you so much, Anzazi. That was Anzazi Kitty of Testa Freak, who hosts Chibundiro. We are so glad to have you this afternoon. And I'd like to also take this opportunity to welcome all of you, including you, Anzazi, to our next session, which is connecting Kenyan indigenous foods to tourism experience. If you check on our platform, social media, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, we're actually posting the Zoom links. I think we can still forward you the link on your WhatsApp so that you can join us in the next, some 12 minutes left.
Okay.
So join us in the next, and thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you
Yeah.
too.
Thank you. Thank you.